Welcome to Lecture L2H of Computer Programming Fundamentals. Computer Programming Languages, the 2000s. The 2000s introduced Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environments. Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environments supported by robust development frameworks. Robust development frameworks that integrate the computer programming application solution, that is, integration with the operating system and hardware of the target computer platform. In other words, this responsibility, or what many call the plumbing, is removed from the computer programming application solution development equation. This allows the computer programmer to concentrate exclusively on the logic requirements of the computer programming application solution. Most noteworthy of Visual Rapid Application Integrated Developments supported by a robust computer programming application solution development framework is Visual Studio.NET, supported by the .NET framework. Thus, computer programming languages supporting the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm now have a viable computer programming application solution development platform. A viable computer programming application solution development platform where a computer programmer could select computer pre-programmed component objects. Select pre-programmed component objects visually from a robust component object library or toolbox. As such, the computer programming development has transitioned from coding from scratch to the assembly of pre-programmed component objects. Given that assembly rather than coding has become the norm for developing computer programming application solutions. As such, a whole new world of opportunity has been opened for developing computer programming application solutions. A whole new world for non-professional as well as professional computer programmers. This all has led to the visual rapid development of more reliable computer programming application solutions. Reliable computer programming application solutions that embody computer programming best practices. Reliable computer programming application solutions assembled from proven pre-programmed component objects. A computer programming application solution development process based on an assembly process that produces a computer programming application solutions for a myriad of computer device types. Computer device types from smartphones to mainframes. An assembly process that is agnostic as to a specific computer programming language, making no difference as to the specific computer programming language used to create the computer programming application solution, because computer programming best practices are not confined to a specific computer programming language. Thus, given the assembly process, computer programming language preference is now up to the computer programmer. All this has created a vast community of computer programmers who now can concentrate on the logic of the computer programming application solution, devoid of worrying about the specific target computer hardware device, operating system, or computer programming language. The 2000s established the computer programming language era for Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environments. Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environments based on the Common Runtime Platform model. First, C#, which inherited many of its features from the C, C++, and Java computer programming languages, C# became the cornerstone of the .NET framework, a framework based on the Common Runtime Platform model. As the .NET framework's major component objects are programmed in the native C# computer programming language. Next, the classic Visual Basic computer programming language was also extended to the .NET framework. F# provided a computer programming language that supports the computer programming language functional-oriented paradigm. In this case, F# provided a functional computer programming language to add to .NET's repository of supported computer programming languages. Groovy, which inherited computer programming features from the Python, Ruby, Perl, and Smalltalk computer programming languages, extended these computer programming language features by developing a computer programming language for the Java computer platform. As such, many refer to Groovy as an enhanced Java for the Java virtual machine. Likewise, Clojure took the Lisp computer programming language features, extended these computer programming language features by developing a computer programming language for the Java computer platform. As such, many refer to Clojure as an enhanced Lisp computer programming language for the Java virtual machine. Go was developed by Google as a proprietary computer programming language to provide the real stuff at Google, namely computer and web search, whereas Dart was developed by Google as an open source computer programming language principally to replace the JavaScript computer programming language with a compiled version. A compiled version to resolve security issues typically associated with non-compiled computer programming scripting languages. In conclusion, the 2000s adapted the emerging computer programming languages of that era to the two major common runtime platforms, namely .NET and the Java virtual machine, while emphasizing and continuing computer programming language best practices by extending, creating, and adapting the emerging computer programming languages of the 2000s to the common runtime platforms that will support the computer programming application solutions of the future. C# is an object-oriented and component-oriented computer programming language based on the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm. C# was developed by Microsoft for its .NET framework. C# was approved as a standard by the European Computer Manufacturers Association. Likewise, C# was also approved as a standard by the International Organization for Standardization. C# is just one of the computer programming languages supported by Visual Studio.NET, designed to operate under the Common Computer Programming Language Infrastructure. The Common Computer Programming Language Infrastructure is a major component of the .NET framework. The Common Computer Programming Language Infrastructure supports the use of multiple computer programming languages. As such, a wide variety of computer programming languages are supported by Visual Studio.NET, where Visual Studio.NET is the Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environment component of the .NET framework. What this means is that a computer programming application solution is no longer restricted to just a single computer programming language. I can personally testify to this, having done it, by developing the same identical computer programming application solution using different computer programming languages supported by .NET. In fact, you can even develop a computer programming application solution that includes more than just one computer programming language. I have also done this. As such, Visual Studio.NET is truly computer programming language agnostic. Getting back to C#, which is just one of the many computer programming languages supported by Visual Studio.NET, C# is intended to be a simple, modern, general-purpose computer programming language based on the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm, a computer programming language with a syntax identical to that of Java. In fact, I like to call C# Microsoft's version of the Java computer programming language. The C# computer programming language was developed by a development team led by Anders Hejlsberg. Initially, the class libraries for the .NET framework were written in simple managed C. However, Hejlsberg's team rewrote these class libraries in a new computer programming language called COOL, where COOL stood for C-like object-oriented language. By the time the .NET framework was publicly announced, COOL was renamed C#. As such, the C# computer programming language became the core computer programming language supported by the .NET framework and the Visual Studio.NET Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environment. Little known Heilsberg, the C# principal designer, was also involved with Borland Corporation, where he developed Turbo Pascal Delphi and the Visual J++ computer programming languages. Based on this experience, Heilsberg recognized flaws in the major computer programming languages of the day, namely the C++, Java, Delphi, and Smalltalk computer programming languages. These recognized flaws drove Heilsberg to develop the underlying fundamentals of the Common Programming Language Runtime, where the Common Programming Language Runtime is the virtual machine component of Microsoft's .NET framework, where the Common Programming Language Runtime is responsible for managing the execution of all .NET computer programs. This allows the process of just-in-time compilation, where compiled code is converted into machine instructions at the latest time possible, before computer program execution. All this means that computer programming application solutions written for the .NET framework adhere to a common language runtime model. Thus, irregardless of the computer programming language used, they all are executed by the Common Programming Language Runtime. The Common Programming Language Runtime is Microsoft's implementation of the Common Language Infrastructure Standard. It is the Common Programming Language Runtime which in turn drove the development of the C# computer programming language, a computer programming language that not only is the core computer programming language supporting the .NET framework, but equally as important, C# is also a computer programming language used to develop computer programming application solutions under the .NET framework. No surprise, James Gosling, who created the Java computer programming language, called C# an imitation of Java. Furthermore, Klaus Kraft and Angelica Langer, authors of C++ books, stated, Java and C# are almost identical computer programming language. Heilsberg, on the other hand, has argued that C# is not a Java clone. Rather, Heilsberg thinks C# is much closer to the C++ computer programming language. In conclusion, C# not only provides the computer programming language foundation for the .NET framework, but also is used as a primary computer programming language within Visual Studio.NET for the development of computer programming application solutions. C# is also described as the Java computer programming language on steroids. To achieve this claim, Microsoft, under Heilsberg's guidance, took the best of the Java and C++ computer programming languages, corrected the recognized flaws in the Java and C++ computer programming languages, while providing a new computer programming language called C#, devoid of the flaws recognized in Java and C++, created C# in tandem with the .NET framework. The result, a combination that produced an agnostic computer programming language environment, an agnostic computer programming language environment that is attractive to professional computer programmers of all persuasions, irregardless of their specific computer programming language preference. In particular, to those Java computer programmers looking for a robust, visual rapid application integrated development environment, especially when supported by a robust object-oriented component development framework. Visual Basic.NET is an object-oriented computer programming language based on the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm. Visual Basic.NET can be viewed as an evolution of the classic Visual Basic, an evolution which is implemented on the .NET framework. Microsoft currently supplies two main editions of Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environments for Visual Basic.NET. VisualStudio.net, which is for commercial professional computer program developers. Visual Basic Express Edition, which is for non-commercial, non-professional computer program developers, where the Visual Basic Express Edition is free of charge. On the other hand, VisualStudio.net is a visual rapid application integrated development environment from Microsoft used to develop computer programming application solutions using a wide variety of computer programming languages, where VisualBasic.net is just one of those computer programming language choices. VisualStudio.net provides a number of computer programming application solution types, irregardless of the specific computer programming language used. Computer programming application solution types that include console or command line, Windows, website, mobile, web services, and component classes. As such, Visual Basic Express can be viewed as a VisualBasic.net only version of VisualStudio.net, where VisualBasic.net is the only computer programming language available. What's more, Microsoft StreamSpark program provides students a free download of VisualStudio.net, provided it is used for non-commercial use. I have used it in the classroom and can attest that it is a complete and robust version of VisualStudio.net. In conclusion, VisualBasic.net is the evolution result of the original Visual Basic of the 1990s. As such, the original Visual Basic computer programmers can now take full advantage of the .NET framework and the VisualStudio.net integrated development environment, can take full advantage while not sacrificing their experience gained with the original Visual Basic. For myself, I became a Visual Basic computer program developer in the 1990s. I had no problem migrating my early Visual Basic computer programs to VisualBasic.net. The .NET framework not only preserved Microsoft's base of Visual Basic computer programmers, but more importantly extended their loyalty, as well as attracting computer programmers loyal to other computer programming languages, principally Java computer programmers that have migrated to C#, because the .NET framework provides a computer program development platform for an agnostic computer programming language Visual Rapid Application Integrated Development Environment, a Visual Rapid Application Solution Integrated Development Environment, where computer programming language specificity has become irrelevant. F# is a multi-paradigm computer programming language supported by the .NET framework. The F# computer programming language's main purpose is to support the computer programming language functional-oriented paradigm. F# also supports the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm. As such, F# is just one of the many computer programming languages supported by VisualStudio.net Visual Rapid Application Solution Integrated Development Environment. F# was initially developed by Don Syme at Microsoft Research, while Syme was a principal researcher at Microsoft Research at Cambridge in the UK. In fact, the F# computer programming language is regarded as a new face in computer programming languages, since Barney Selstrup developed C++ in the early 1980s. Today, further development continues at Microsoft's developer division. Currently, F# is being distributed as a fully supported computer programming language, principally under the .NET framework and VisualStudio.net. F# is strongly typed computer programming language that uses type inference. As such, data types do not need to be explicitly declared by the computer programmer. Rather, data types are deduced by the compiler. However, F# does allow explicit data type declaration because F# is supported by the .NET framework. As such, the F# computer programming language supports all common computer programming language infrastructure data types and objects. Extension of these data types leads to the creation of mutable data types, where mutable data types allow new object instances to be created without overwriting older object instances. This is a cornerstone feature of the F-sharp computer programming language, as well as all computer programming languages that comply with the computer programming language functional-oriented paradigm. This allows the computer programming code to be condensed considerably. For example, compare the computer programming code between the C++ computer program code and the F-sharp computer program code that achieves the same result. In conclusion, F-sharp is just another computer programming language supported by the .NET framework and the Visual Studio.NET Visual Rapid Application Solution integrated development environment, where F-sharp adds a computer programming language that supports the computer programming language functional-oriented paradigm. Thus, a new computer programming language with functional programming capability is now available to produce computer programming application solutions under the umbrella of the .NET framework and the Visual Studio.NET Visual Rapid Application Solution integrated development environment. Computer programming application solutions that can be extended by the functional programming capabilities provided by the F-sharp computer programming language. All this made possible by Visual Studio.NET's multi-computer programming language capability. Groovy is a computer programming language developed for the Java Virtual Machine computer platform. Groovy supports the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm. The Groovy computer programming language is a dynamic computer programming language, inheriting features from the Python, Ruby, Perl, and Smalltalk computer programming languages. Groovy stands out because it can be used in multiple ways. For example, it can be used as a computer programming scripting language for the Java Virtual Machine computer platform. Or Groovy can also be used as a computer programming language that is dynamically compiled. That is compiled as Java Virtual Machine bytecode, thus allowing Groovy classes to interoperate with the multitude of Java class libraries. No surprise, Groovy's syntax rules are identical to Java. Groovy was developed in 2003 by James Strachan while at the Groovy and Grails company. Today, Groovy is backed by VMware after its acquisition of SpringSource, after SpringSource acquired the Groovy and Grails company. Given this history, it follows that many Java computer programming language source code files are also valid Groovy computer programming language source code files. Although Java and Groovy source code is syntactically similar, Groovy source code is much more compact. See the comparison here. This is because the Groovy source code requires less computer programming language elements. Computer programming language elements automatically built into Groovy, whereas with the Java computer programming language, these computer programming elements need to be explicitly stated. As such, Java computer programmers can easily acquire Groovy computer programming skills, given they add the nuances associated with Groovy's hidden computer programming language idioms. In conclusion, Groovy is really an enhanced form of the Java computer programming language. Both computer programming languages have identical syntactical rules. Both are supported by the Java Virtual Machine computer platform. Both are open source computer programming languages. No doubt, if you know the Java computer programming language, you automatically know and can use the Groovy computer programming language. Clojure is a dialect of the Lisp computer programming language. The Clojure computer programming language was developed by Rich Hickey in 2007. Clojure is a general-purpose computer programming language focusing on robust, multi-threaded computer programming application solutions. Clojure runs on the Java Virtual Machine Common Language Runtime computer platform. Clojure also runs on computer platforms supporting JavaScript. Like Lisp, the Clojure computer programming language treats computer programming code as data. In addition, Clojure also is supported by a sophisticated macro system. Before Clojure, Hickey developed the .Lisp computer programming language. .Lisp, although similar to Clojure, was developed for the .NET Framework computer platform. Hickey spent about 2.5 years working on the Clojure computer programming language before releasing it to the world. During this time, Hickey's work on the Clojure programming language received no external funding. As such, after finalizing the Clojure computer programming language, Hickey presented Clojure to the Common Lisp community. Thus, Clojure became an open-source computer programming language. Hickey developed Clojure because he wanted a modern Lisp computer programming language targeted for the Java Virtual Machine computer platform. Furthermore, the Clojure computer programming language was developed to provide a computer programming language that focused on the property of concurrency, where the concurrency property in turn led to Clojure's multi-threading capability. The Clojure computer programming language's multi-threading capability thus enables parallel thread execution. In other words, multiple threads within the Clojure computer programming application solution that can be executed in parallel for multiple parallel operations executing concurrently are essential for real-time forecasting computer programming application solutions. For example, weather forecasting models. In conclusion, Clojure provides a Lisp computer programming language for the Java Virtual Machine computer platform. Moreover, Clojure extends Lisp to a multi-threading computer programming language, a computer programming language capable of supporting a robust set of complex real-time forecasting computer programming application solutions, like weather forecasting. Go is a compiled, concurrent computer programming language developed by Google. The Go computer programming language was originally developed by Robert Reisner, Rob Pike, and Ken Thompson in 2007. In 2010, Rob Pike publicly stated that the Go computer programming language was being used for the real stuff at Google. For Go's GC compiler targets a wide spectrum of operating systems, namely the Linux, Mac OS X, Unix, and Windows operating systems. Likewise, a wide variety of computer platforms are targeted by the Go computer programming language, such as those computer platforms supported by Intel and Advanced Micro devices, as well as advanced reduced instruction set computer machines. The Go computer programming language's syntactical rules are derived from the C computer programming language. No surprise, given Ken Thompson's participation in the Go computer language's early development. As such, computer programmers experienced with the C computer programming language will easily adapt to the Go computer programming language. Go is designed to produce exceptionally fast compile times, even on modest computer hardware platforms. Go features input concurrency via establishment of Go channels. Go channels allow multiple data input streams to be processed concurrently. What's more, Go channels can process input data streams of an arbitrary data type. As such, the development of application programming interfaces is made easier with Go. Those application programming interfaces critical in computer search, where search has become the cornerstone for Google's success. In conclusion, Go is a computer programming language developed and used primarily at Google. Although the Go computer programming language is based on the C computer programming language, the Go computer programming language offers many enhancements over the earlier C computer programming language. Enhancements that have led to Google's dominance in computer and web search. For example, Go's main feature of data input concurrency, a feature that enhances its capability to provide application programming interfaces so important for computer and web search, which has become Google's mainstay. As such, I think of Go as C on steroids. Dart is an open source web computer programming language developed by Google. The Dart computer programming language was developed specifically for providing web computer programming application solutions. The Dart computer programming language was unveiled at the GoTo conference in Aarhus, Denmark in 2011. The primary goal of the Dart computer programming language was to replace the JavaScript computer programming language. As many consider the JavaScript computer programming language the lingua franca for developing web computer programming application solutions, particularly on the open source web browser-based computer systems platform. The Dart computer programming language's intention in this case was to solve the inherent problems associated with the JavaScript computer programming language, while carrying forward the JavaScript computer programming language's contributions made to web computer programming application solutions. Inherent problems such as performance, large-scale project adaptability, and security, inherent problems that many feel cannot be solved by extending the JavaScript computer programming language in its present form. As such, Google is working on the Dart computer programming language to help build more complex, full-featured, client-side web computer programming application solutions. To this end, the Dart computer programming language was developed as a computer programming language that supports the computer programming language object-oriented paradigm. What's more, Dart inherits syntactical rules from the C computer programming language, therefore allowing the large cadre of computer programmers familiar with C, Java, and C# to adapt naturally to the Dart computer programming language. The Dart computer programming language was developed by Lars Bak in 2011 as a Google computer scientist. Noteworthy is that Bak, who resides in Denmark, also contributed to the development of the Chrome browser through Bak's prior development of the Visual Basic JavaScript engine. Dart is deployed to run on modern web browsers, either directly inside a Dart virtual machine embedded in the web browser, or as compiled JavaScript, much like Java applets. Dart's virtual machine is also designed to run on Dart computer programs on a web server. Thus, Dart computer programs can work with the web server side of the client-server platform architecture model. In conclusion, Google has recognized the JavaScript computer programming language's limitations. Limitations common to interpretive or non-compiled computer programming scripting languages. Lack of security being the greatest limitation among others. Given these limitations, the future growth and extension of the JavaScript computer programming language comes into question. As such, Google has concluded that a compiled computer programming language is required to replace the JavaScript computer programming language. The conclusion pointing toward the Dart computer programming language as the natural successor to the JavaScript computer programming language.